he had gone for it from a commercial vendor, they would have given it to him for free because he's a handsome guy. He would have paid for it.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now. Government.
All right, so today is the 21st of March, 2025. Let me say a good morning to you and welcome to today's edition of the show. This is Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. And as usual, we say a big thanks to the Almighty God for seeing us through to the day. And we're back hale and hearty to bring you another edition of the show. And we want to say a big thanks to you as well who wake up every morning to tune into Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Audu Moro once again, and I'll go straight ahead and look at the front page stories of the newspapers. I'll start with the Daily Graphic. Daily Graphic this morning is reporting that new Kweumanhene pledges to improve other sectors. Electrochem seeks $445 million to expand operations. Ben Galamsey, excavators, activist, advocate. The Ghanaian Times. Government initiates wager expansion rehabilitation project to add 22 million gallons. KNUST reaffirms commitment to well-being and safety of students. Tamale Metropolis, water crisis. 6 SHSs most affected. Students abandon classes in search of water. Upper East, thank you visit. We will bridge economic gap between North and South. President assures Northern Ghana. Daily Guide. AG okayed raid on ex-BOG governor's house. 10,000 cedis jewelry stolen. SML disrupted. Petroleum cartel's tax evasion system. Professor Isaac Buedi. How and why national security picked Oketechi Efrifa. MPP initiates disciplinary action against Adwoa Safo. Police decentralize media and engagements. That's a piece of good news. The Weekend Crusading Guide. 2025 budget debate. Asenso Boachi demands urgent action on Accra-Kumasi Highway dualization. Ripples from MPP 2024 electoral defeat. We had only one campaign team with our MP. Inshaiso executives reject inquiry report, vindicates Dr. Stephen Amoa. And as Natoshi supports successor as new DACF administrator faces vetting committee. Officers, personnel at Air Force Base grumble, intensify calls for Eric Ajin Frimpong's withdrawal. AMA launches calls for applications for Phase 2 of Youth Climate Action Fund. Nana Kwekwa Mwakon inspires KTU students to aligning skills with national goals. The Insight newspaper. Ex-minister spills beans overwrought at school feeding program. Air Force Base reportedly in disarray over leadership shakeup in GAF. Calls for Agent Frimpont's withdrawal intensify. Calls for next NDC leader from Northern Sector intensifies. IGP Tete Yohunu restores police regional public unit communication, urges officers to be truthful, credible. Ashifra denies accusation of assigning land guards to harm opponents. Iran warns U.S. threats have severe consequences. The Herald. Documents expose outgoing CDS in Lexus car bribery and overpriced armored vehicles deal. IGP spark storm with deputy CID boss appointment. Soldiers shield 37 lorry station developer from angry traders as Lahdade Kotopon Municipal Assembly members induced with foreign trip. GBC Workers Union accused Director General of Financial Mismanagement. Finance Minister engages 22 bank CEOs on economic stability measures. The Ghanaian Publisher. Dear Manasseh Azure, if I were you, stop your hawks now, Afenyomakin tells Mahama. Natoshi Bak's successor attends his vetting. NPP drags Taifa Beyonce to disciplinary committee. Daily Post. Ernest Addison's home raid was conducted lawfully, Deputy Attorney General. Many in new top brass of Ghana police are MPP tainted, NDC activists point out. Empty money storage boxes found in ex-BOG Governor Addison's home, national security. What are empty money storage boxes doing in the home of the ex-governor of the Bank of Ghana comes with a question mark. The Daily Statesman. IGP calls for stronger police community collaboration. Empraiso MP advocates collective forest protection. Prioritize Accra-Kumasi Road dualization. Asenso Boachi appeals to Mahama government. Cash, jewelry go missing after raid on Addison's home. The Inquisitor. School feeding rot under NPP. Adwoa undresses Nanado, confirms his clearing agent status. GSA local union leaders swerve RTI request. NPA CEO vows to flush out illegal fuel traders. 78 million cedis allocated to my office woefully inadequate. Kwache Ofosu. The Informer. Galamsey fight. Minority pledges support and urges. Sorry about that. So Galamsey fight. Minority pledges support, urges non-partisan approach. Stop the Rambo-style raids. Security Dawn cautions. Pay us regularly for waste management. Zoom Lion appeals to government. Nigerian 56 busted in 2 million cocaine haul. And play out your hearts for Ghana. Mahama urges Black Stars. There's also pay us regularly for waste management. Zoom Lion appeals to government. Danger. Cholera claims 19 lives in Central. So that's it for the front page stories of the newspapers. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kelkit Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. makes your teeth stronger. Chicky chicky whiter, chicky chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kel Kids, happy smile.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
Who are you? Who are you? Charlie, I'll be you from the future. Who doesn't sleep on that slice of bread you call mattress anymore? Don some slippers, then follow me. You just buy the mattress we did the front there. Yeah? That'll be the mattress where the dead for time. Wait, what are you doing? Wow! No damage at all. Not only durable, but also super comfortable. Come on, try it.
Nothing day like Ash Foam. Enjoy full body support and unparalleled comfort for a restful sleep.
Don't forget your keys.
Get the premium sleep experience with mattresses from Ash Foam. Visit any of our showrooms nationwide or at ashfoam.com.
Mommy.
Michelle say, fe.
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Chocolate Toothpaste. Healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Chocolate Toothpaste. Sankofa.
Yenchi. Kel Chocolate Toothpaste.
Happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
Customer, I don't know who to say.
Malaria been actually on my number still.
One give us.
Give us a solid.
Yeah, sorry. What rest of so give us here and don't come down.
What's over that song? That's when they give us the and some down.
Give us your bad mixture.
Let us try the and some down.
Customer. Give us that now. Back.
Onuya kayo oba wo fafu onum de o ma no bonu fu onum akwada wo ni fie dumie no ono nso no.
Attention all farmers, are you ready to take your crops to the next level? Introducing 3 effective organic composts that will revolutionize your farming practices. ACAP, K-Cup and Aricop brings to you the ultimate solution for your fertilizer needs. Introducing the A-Cup Grade A, K-Cup Equiafua Jinkwa, and the Aricop with cocoa blends, palm blend, and mulch. These are made from locally sourced municipal solid waste, and these are the perfect choice for sustainable farming. Join the organic revolution today. Boost your crop yield, improve soil health, and support sustainable farming practices. Choose A-Cup, K-Cup, and Aricop organic compost for a greener and bountiful harvest. For your purchase and more information, call the numbers on your screen. Our products are endorsed by COCOBOD, Planting for Food and Jobs, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
You're also live on Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. Now, this show is live on 94.1. I did indicate to you yesterday, and in fact, the whole of this week, that in case you want to move out of your house, but you still don't want to lose out on the experience, the Good Morning Ghana show is that it's a whole experience because of the guests who come here and how intellectually stimulating the kinds of conversations we have here. And so you don't want to miss out on that. So it's 94.1 radio dial. Just put it there. It doesn't have any name for now. It's 94.1. It's crystal clear. Just put it there and you'll be able to follow the conversation on the Good Morning Ghana show. Now, this was based on, numerous calls to us to try and, give you an alternative because of the time. Some of you have to be in the office, you have to drive and so on and so forth. So we're trying to solve that problem. 94.1 FM. Let me also say that Blue Jeans Energy Drink is proudly associated with the Good Morning Ghana program. And need I say more? Blue Jeans Energy Drink is just fantastic. Please try it. It's been tested. It's for those of you who want to energize your body or you want to energize yourselves. You want to be able to boost your strength and so on and so forth. Blue Jeans Energy Drink is for you. So try this morning and let me know how it feels like. Well, just try it today and perhaps Monday, send Annie Adwoa Safo a message on the Good Morning Ghana WhatsApp platform and tell her how the experience has been drinking Blue Jeans Energy Drink. It's been on the Ghanaian markets for more than 20 years. To survive the Ghanaian markets for more than 20 years tells you the kind of quality and the kind of brand that we're referring to. Now, it contains many vitamins and nutrients. We're talking about vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12. It's got taurine, it's got guarana, and all of them are meant to boost your strength and your energy, as well as promote high performance and endurance. In case you want to buy them in bulk, it's in shops nationwide. Just call Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128 190, 0208 128 190, and also 055 001 0000. So 055 001 0000. So joining us this morning for, as usual, what promises to be a good conversation on the show is a man who was here some time back. He was here a couple of weeks ago, and he's made time to join us again this morning. I'm talking about the man Isaac Boama Nyako. He is the Member of Parliament for Efia. I was just taught off air that it's not Efia, as we used to. It's Efia. And there's a very beautiful story behind that. I'm sure that he will narrate it before we get into the business of the day. Good morning, sir. Good to see you.
Good morning. How are you? I'm good. Good to see you too.
How are the constituents?
They are doing very well. Yeah. As part of my responsibilities, okay. I have to go there almost every week.
So you go every weekend?
At least every 2 weeks I visit.
Okay.
Takrady, yes.
So in a month you do at least twice?
At least twice a month.
At least twice?
At least twice a month, yes.
And there are times you're able to do the whole month?
Yes. So long as I have the opportunity. We've started serious business in the house. Committees have been formed now. And so
congratulations, you've been added to the finance committee.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes. That's good.
I've been moved from the energy committee now to the finance committee.
You like it?
Practically, they're still looking at the background based on my years of experience in Ghana Revenue Authority, over 22 years as a legal practitioner. And so the leadership of the minority think I could best serve the finance committee. And if you look at the trajectory of the Ministry of Finance, the reviews of acts and the laws that they are bringing to Parliament, leadership thinks I have a lot to contribute on the finance committee of the
What's the level of engagement prior to the formation of these committees? Are you, for instance, is it a party or the leadership? Your leadership, the minority leadership would engage and say, look, this is what we're thinking. What do you also think?
Oh, it's purely a leadership engagement. The leadership would ordinarily pick your CVs as members of parliament. They try to get understanding of our various backgrounds, and they look at the committees and the skills we have in the house. And so based on it, and it's not necessarily because you're a lawyer or you're an accountant, so you go to this specific committee. At times, people are moved to also go and complement others in those committees. So you have someone with no knowledge in even intelligence or security, yet the person might be put there because of maybe a social background or philosophical background. So a whole lot of issues come into play.
I mean, I stand to be corrected because I'm ignorant about the formation of these committees and the considerations that go into it. But if I don't have any background in, say, finance, if I join the finance committee, what use will I be to the committee? Because I can't contribute. I don't know finance.
Of course. So when it comes to specialized committees like the finance committee, the judiciary committee, and so that one, special attention is paid to the skill set. Exactly. But what I'm saying is that it is not tied to just because in parliament you have different kinds of people coming in. And so if you don't balance the equation, then you may get others not really getting to serve on every committee. And then when you take our standing orders, it requires one to serve on at least one of the various committees, either the standing committee or the select committee. And so it is mandatory for every member of parliament to at least serve on 2 committees. And these are some of the considerations.
So you are on finance and which other committee?
I'm on finance, I'm on winnowing committee, I'm on private members bill committee, and I'm on the house committee.
You're on the house committee?
Yes.
You are on the finance committee?
Yes.
And which other one?
Private members bill committee.
Private members bill
and
committee.
Winnowing committee.
Winnowing committee?
Yeah, so the winnowing committee.
Who are you? Winnowing committee, who are you?
So the winnowing committee is a new committee that was added to the recent standing orders. You know, it's a house of law where we pass legislations. So many a times when bills come to the house, it's referred to the relevant committee to review. Now, when those committees do their revision and it comes to Parliament, and Parliament would have to also go on the floor to discuss. So ordinarily, Parliament have created a winnowing committee to serve as an additional eye to review the bills that come from the committees to the floor. So the winnowing committee will do an extra review of the bill before it comes to plenary. And so that is a new committee set under this new standing orders.
And typically, what kinds of people are drafted into the winnow? And winnow here is spelled what? W-I-N-N-O-W-I-N-G. Yeah. What kinds of people typically are drafted into this winnowing committee?
Oh, so because they are legislative in nature and bills in nature, so if you have a legal background, that would be most helpful. So we need to check the other considerations. But these are, as I said, the speaker chairs the select committee with the assistance of the leadership. And so they look at these things and come up with a composition.
Finally, you talked about how at least twice in a month you visit your constituency. And that's at least.
Yes.
Of course, sometimes if you find it necessary and you can, the can here means a lot of things, but
That's
you can, you go to your constituency. My understanding is that it is extremely expensive to go back to the constituency. that some of our MP friends tell us. Why is that so? You're supposed to just fuel your car and go and say hello. So where does the expenditure come from?
Well, okay.
In fact, I'm told it's a major consideration in determining whether you'll be visiting or you go stay for Accra.
So,
but before you do that, let me just introduce a very good friend of mine, and we go way back. Sweeney Alhassan Sweeney and I have a very interesting story back at a radio station. But he's a big man now, so I've been left alone in
the honorable deputy minister.
Inshallah, I'll survive.
The mischief has never stopped.
For Tamale North, he's loved by his constituents. That you can't take it away from him. They love him to bits. I mean, listen, he's not the one telling me. I know what I'm saying. And
we give God.
It's also, the new king of the block, Roads Ministry. He's the deputy Roads Minister. And maybe we'll use this opportunity to congratulate him. Good morning, my brother. How are you doing?
Good morning, bro. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
The whole of this year.
Yeah, that's strange. To think that we used to
regularly talk and meet
and do things together.
These are the kinds of things that happens when
doesn't want me to go into the details of the things
when your hands are full,
because I was always trying to manage some of his excesses. But my brother, on a serious note, is a pleasure to be here, and thank you very much for the patience with us sometimes. We get overwhelmed and
with all kinds of things.
But your support, your prayers, and your encouragement are never taken for granted. We appreciate it. And let me say good morning to my colleague, and good morning to our viewers, especially the very good people of the Mali North constituency. And let me also once again show appreciation for their kind support over the years. I heard my brother making the point about how regularly he visits the constituency. It's a good thing. Hope he maintains it. You are right. It's not an easy thing.
Why?
It's difficult. It's difficult to really go into. First of all, we have real need in our society. I mean, it's pure, it's palpable. You can feel it.
Yeah.
People have genuine needs that they can't meet. And sometimes it's through no fault of theirs. It's just the circumstances that we find ourselves. A developing country that, unfortunately, has been very wasteful in some of the investments that we have made in the past and continue to make. And those investments have not, yielded the kind of social network and social welfare network that should exist, to cater for those who may have fallen, off the crack in our effort to develop our country and ourselves. So elsewhere, what social welfare, will cater for becomes the responsibility of elected politicians. I say so because other politicians do it at will. But for an elected politician, it becomes your responsibility.
Yeah.
You no longer have a choice, because it is by that, or through that, you are measured as whether a good, person worthy of their vote or not. And so that for me is the basic reason, the fact that we have so much need in our society, needs of people who, through no fault of theirs, has to be catered for, and the system in place has not made provision to cater for their needs. And so we become the SOS, I sometimes call, in jovial terms, you are like the MP's number is like the emergency line. So people call your line and text your line for all sorts of emergencies. And maybe unfortunately for our generation, we are more accessible than any other MPs in any period.
Yeah.
Because you see, in the past, I know members of parliament who did not, for example, even have telephones, mobile phones. You know, so there was no way you could reach them unless you went to their offices. You know, then the mobile phone era came, and then now we have social media, and we are all, you know, on all those platforms. So you are reached everywhere, every time. You know, you open your social media messages, your WhatsApps, your text messages, your phone calls, and the need is there. The requests are just that much. And so we just pray that we will use the opportunity that we have in this generation to make a difference, to make an impact, to build the kind of systems, to help build the kind of systems that will alleviate the suffering and the poverty that we see in our communities, and create the social welfare systems that can help, so that people, look, I say it takes a lot of courage, you know, for one to engage in the indignity of requesting for help.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not dignifying for anybody to want to even seek help from another in the manner that it is done. So, first of all, you need to recognize that, you know, people are making the effort, but there's the other side of it, which I don't really want to highlight, so because they are in the exactly, that's what I was going to say. There are people who abuse these things, and sometimes it is the reason why it is even more daunting. I mean, if we're just to cater for people who are really in need, who really genuinely need support, maybe it would have been less daunting. But I mean, there are those who take advantage and abuse the system and just assume that politicians have too much, and so when you are going to your constituency, you really need to prepare.
But what's the basis of that perception? Is it because of the V8 you drive? Is it because of the dress you wear? What is the basis for that perception that your MPs are rich?
It's partly based on, first of all, the nature of campaign we wage, and it's also, like you said correctly, the lifestyles that we lead, especially after being elected. I mean, during the campaign, when you present yourself as Captain Planet, you know, jack of all trades, with all the solutions to their problems, and somehow, you know, unconsciously we do, you know, you present yourself as somebody, because you see, when you are campaigning, let me just take some few steps back. I always say that, Moro, that I don't think that you can do very well as a politician, especially one who stands for elections, if you don't have empathy, if you don't have the heart to give, and if you don't have the drive to resolve problems, you won't do well. So that natural empathy that you have, that natural drive you have to resolve issues, will make you intervene in ways that will give wrong or right impressions about your capability and your capacity. And based on that, you know, the floodgates will be opened, especially when you are elected. And you have to now learn how to manage that era too, in order not to become very unpopular so soon. But it's not all gloomy. It's not all gloomy, I must say. It's not all gloomy. I mean, it's fulfilling. It's prestigious. And
to know that you've been able to put a smile on somebody's face.
Yes, absolutely.
But it's tough.
Fulfilling and it's prestigious.
I don't know whether you have something you want to add to what Sunil said.
Yes, as my brother has rightly stated, it's a very difficult enterprise, particularly when you take it from those of us who have just joined. And I need to commend them, those who have made it the second and the third terms. You know, based on what exactly. So, exactly. So it means they've really done a very good job trying to stand in as a gap to bring some responses to the needs of our people. And as he indicated again, you need to have a very empathetic heart. You need to be very sympathetic to the people. The needs are there. Even for those of us who are coming from urban communities like Takoradi, when you go into this kind of position, that is when you realize the number of people who are in real need. So you don't take it for granted that, oh, we are all in the metropolis. But if you take the percentage of people who are in need on a daily basis, then the social interventions that we need to provide as a country. So I want to congratulate him again for taking up the position of Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways. My community, I filed some questions to the minister. He came to answer, so I'll be following that. let me say a good morning to your cherished listeners and also the people of Ifia. This morning, one of my police station executives passed on. They're doing the 1 week today, Grace O2, and so I would want to. Express my condolences to the bereaved family and to the party, the constituency as a whole. And I hope that when they set the final date of the burial, I will be in the constituency to support them. And so I want to wish the family well in this moment and pray that the Lord keeps their soul.
You wanted to tell me what the Ifia and not Ifia. Ifia, because you have to correct me before we came on.
Ifia constituency used to be part of Takoradi constituency when we started our multi-party democracy. And then later on, Ifia Kwesimintim was carved out of Takoradi constituency. So we started with Gladys Asma as our Member of Parliament. And then when we created Ifia Kwesimintim, Honorable Joe Bedouansa took up that responsibility. He served as two-term minister in President Kufuor's administration. In 2012, Ifia was separated from Kwesimintim. So Joe Bedouansa went into Kwesimintim, and then Honorable Joseph Kujo came in to serve as the Member of Parliament for Ifia for 3 terms. So MPP has traditionally held that particular seat. And in this 2024, I took over from Honorable Joseph Kujo as the Member of Parliament for Ifia constituency. So we border Takoradi, Sekendi, Iskado Ketan, and then Kwesimintim constituencies. So we sit in the middle. So we have the Takoradi Mall, the Takoradi Technical University, the Takoradi Technical Institute, all in your constituency.
And finally, before we get into our conversation, for the main conversation for today, let me also say a big thanks and congratulations to Alassane Sueni. I mean, I saw there was a video I watched, must have been sometime last week, and on YouTube, and I saw you with your our own very good friend, Osman. I think it's Osman Musa of Alinsan Construction Limited. He's put up a very nice mosque in Lakeside.
I was marveled. I was marveled when I saw that building. I wasn't surprised.
Did you know he was putting it up?
I didn't. I mean,
it was a surprise.
Yeah, he invited me to come help him commission it. In fact, he said commission a mosque that they have built. You know,
he didn't tell you he built
his usual humble
guy,
way. He said, "Come help us, commission this mosque that we have built in our community." And I didn't anticipate the size that I saw and the finishing that I saw. I mean,
top class. And it was revealed to me upon engagement when I arrived that it was actually a community mosque, a smaller one, and the community had decided to expand it and began contributing money. And that's when he heard about it and decided to take it up to fully fund the construction and the installations and finishing of the mosque. It's a beautiful mosque at the lakeside, and it was a pleasure to be with him to commission it. And I was there with the Member of Parliament for the area, Ramadan, also former Deputy Minister of Transport, Al-Hassan Tampuli, was there as well. Who else? I mean, there were a number of dignitaries that showed up, just to support him. Because he's a good man. And again, he was engaged in
something that will uplift, the community.
I think I saw the Adenta MP, Mohammed Ramadan.
Mohammed Ramadan, yes, that's what I meant.
And for me,
the MP of
the person that got me excited when I said was Alaji Bene. You recall him?
Alaji Bene, my father. I mean, I was there. You were on that trip with them. Yeah. So I mean, when I saw him in the mugs, I just fell on him.
Yeah. And he kept talking about the relationship you guys have built.
He's amazing.
Over the years.
We have an amazing relationship.
And how supportive you've been in his life and so on and so forth. And I was touched. The kinds of things people do quietly, they don't talk about it, and so you never know. But anyway, congrats, and may Allah continue to bless you and grant you your heart desire, so that you can also continue to support as many people as you can. No wonder your constituents love you. This love, it's not automatic like that. You have to earn it.
It's grace. It's grace. It's actually grace.
So
it's grace.
We're done with our little chit chat, which sometimes we do, depending on the guest and who is there and the issues that they come with. But so Adwoa Safo, Sarah Adwoa Safo, she's been talking a lot. Or let me say a lot in the past 1 week.
She got nerve.
Yeah, she got nerve. You know what I'm saying? And it's also because of the community where she comes from. Yeah. And that's why she got the kind of nerves that she has. Anyway, and her party is not happy with her. And so she is being asked to face a disciplinary committee. So if you look at today's daily guide, MPP initiates disciplinary action against Adwoa Safo. The story is on page 6. So we'll start with that first, and then we'll look at some other stories. So now Prince Fifi York of the Daily Guide says the New Patriotic Party has initiated disciplinary actions against former Member of Parliament for Dome Kwabenya, Sarah Adwoa Safo, following some utterances she made against the party in her recent media interview. The decision comes after her comment on Joy News, the Pulse show, which the party leadership view as a direct contravention of an earlier directive prohibiting members from discussing matters that could create disaffection and unrest within the party. Also, her recent Tell It All interview on Asempa FM's Ekosiseng show, where she revealed that her recent loss in the parliamentary primaries was as a result of a misunderstanding by her party, while apportioning blame to some party bigwigs as being the cause of the party's abysmal performance in the December 2024 elections. She also issued a word of caution to Professor Michael Quay, saying he should find out what happened in the Dom Kwabenya constituency first before preparing his report. Dom Kwabenya should be number one. He has to let us know why his son lost in his bid to become MP for that constituency. He should explain that before blaming Dr. Bamia. The NPP, in a statement issued by its General Secretary Justin Kudia Frimpong, indicates that Adwoa Safo's comments in the media, particularly on the Pulse show on Joy News, are a clear contravention of their directive issued to all NPP members. As she is aware, the directive explicitly states that all party members must cease discussing party issues that create unrest, negativism, and disaffection in the media and other related platforms. Their actions not only disregard this directive, but also undermine the party's efforts to rebuild and move forward. As a former member of parliament, former deputy majority leader, and former minister of state under the erstwhile MPP government, she was expected to set a good example and adhere to the principles of discipline, unity, and integrity that have always defined our great party. Mr. Kodia added that her failure to do so not only reflects poorly on her, but also contravenes Article 3.5 of the party's constitution, which, among others, enjoins us to promote and defend the good name of the party. In breach of the above provision of the party's constitution and the directives issued earlier, Honorable Sarah Adwoa Safo is hereby referred to the National Disciplinary Committee of the party for further action. I'll start with you, Isaac. Honorable Isaac. I mean, you are fortunately also a private legal practitioner, and so you have a better understanding of what the constitution says with regards to conduct of members and so on and so forth. Now, as you do know, there was an earlier directive that stopped making any comment or utterances that would create some kind of disaffection for the party. And then she goes on Pulse on Joy FM to make further comment. And now the party says you have some questions to answer before the disciplinary committee of the party. What is happening? Do you know? Is she first of all, are you?
Yeah, I know Honorable Adwoa Safo.
You're not. You say you're close friends.
No, we don't close friends. I related to her those days when I served in Ghana Revenue Authority.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And also as a lawyer, we've met a couple of times. It's very unfortunate we find ourselves in this situation. We are in a country where we believe in free speech. The party believes in every member to express him or herself when it comes to matters of the person's own nature or the party. However, we are also governed by rules and regulations. We've come out of an election which we've lost badly. For the first time we went to an election, we garnered less than 42%. This is the first time the party has lost this number of seats in parliament. And so a lot of introspection has to be done. The party has to investigate and set up a team to find out why we performed this abysmal in the past elections. And so in the wisdom of the National Executive Council, committee was put in place chaired by Professor Michael Ironukwe to do these investigations. Actually, in the frame of the National Executive Council, 2 committees were supposed to be set up. One to do research into the reasons for our laws, and the second to bring proposals for constitutional review. So Professor Michael Kwe ordinarily was supposed to chair the Constitutional Review Committee. And then one doctor to chair the investigations into our laws as a party. But they didn't want to set these 2 committees to run independent. So we put the 2 committees together to be chaired by Professor Michael Ironukwe. So actually, Professor Ukwe is not leading the investigations to our laws. It is in the hands of a different committee. Professor Ukwe is only chairing the consolidated committee, which will bring proposals to the National Executive Council with respect to the outcome of that investigation and then the recommendation for the party's constitutional review. And so the committee has been on the field for a while. They're supposed to actually complete their work by the end of this month.
Sorry, before you go ahead to talk about when they're supposed to complete that, who do you say is in charge of the fact-finding committee?
One doctor, I will just confirm the name.
Okay, he's in charge.
He's in charge of the
which is go and find out what exactly happened to us. That's one team.
That's one team.
Then there's another team that's also supposed to be looking at the party's constitution.
The party's constitution.
And how to overhaul it.
How to overhaul it.
In order to conform to modern times and so on.
Definite.
And that's headed by
Professor Ukwe.
That's Professor Michael Ukwe.
Yes. So when you put those
to do with the fact finding.
No. So when you put these 2 committees together, then it is overall chaired by Professor Ukwe.
Okay.
Yes. So this fact finding mission has nothing to do with Professor Ukwe. So it will be difficult for anybody to even state that in all these rounds that the committee has been doing, Professor Ukwe has been involved in this fact-finding mission. Yeah, so the mandate is clear. When the party issued its communication to us as party folks, that clear distinction was made by the General Secretary of the party. So it is in no doubt that we needed a team to do the research, to give us information on why we lost abysmally. And that work is nearing completion. They visited my constituency. Even this week, I'm sure members of parliament will be meeting, the minority side will be meeting that committee to also interact with them.
And to make their inputs.
Which are input in. Exactly. So in the midst of this, we've had a lot of party members also going out into the media space to express their views on why we lost, or individually their perspective on our performance. We've had situations where former members of parliament had been out there to speak on those matters, and then some communications were made to them to take their time. So we complete this whole exercise before we all take it from there. So we've had relative peace in this party over some time until we had Honorable Adwoa Safo coming in to share her experiences or give her views on these matters. I ordinarily have no problem with Honorable Adwoa Safo expressing herself. I think it is in her domain. She can exercise those rights. And in fact, the difficulty I have with her is that you doing a one-on-one interview, And in those interviews, certain revelations are made or certain statements are made against other individuals who are not present to defend themselves. And so in our communication, we ought to be very tactful that yes, share whatever you want to share, but you also have to respect the rights of others who you bring them into the picture. And then secondly, we are all trying to build a party. She still remains a party member, even in some of the interviews. In fact, when I saw bits and pieces of her interviews, I took it upon myself to listen to the Ekusi Sen one with Obi. So I had the privilege of listening to the entire interview with Obi. And I thought that there were certain statements she made which were not too good for the unity of the party. And so she's been an experienced member of parliament. She's been a deputy majority leader. She served the people of Dom Kwabenya well over 3 terms. And so it's important that she becomes very measured so that we don't. And it's for that reason that the party issued that communication to us as a people, that we should be very careful in these times what we say, and we shouldn't wash our dirty linen in public. We shouldn't do things that will bring disunity or bring issues that would harm the party. And so I thought she would be guided by those directives from the party, and unfortunately she proceeded to another media platform to even spew much more words that are not too good. The party in the wisdom has referred it to the disciplinary committee. I think it's in the right direction. It's part of our regulations as a party that anybody that does anything in the wisdom of the party that brings its name into disrepute, we need to follow the due process. And that is where they've sent her. I only hope that the party will give her a very fair hearing, which I know the disciplinary committee will do. I hope that she would avail herself to the processes of the disciplinary committee so that we can get this off our head. I don't want to see a situation where we take this too hard on her and then take certain steps that will further disturb the unity of this party. The party is made up of people. It's numbers game. And so you want to, in as much as you want to instill discipline, also try and bring everybody on board. I'm sure even beyond the referral to the disciplinary committee, we have leaders of this party, we have the council of elders. I think it should be very important for them to engage her further, to try and understand that, you know, she's expressing herself from a certain point. She believes that she's not been heard over the period. A lot of allegations have been put on her. She's never had the benefit of explaining herself. So she's more like on an explanatory spree, you know, which I believe would help her ease some of the issues that has been bothering her over the period. But in doing so, you have to also be guided that you don't do things that will bring disunity into this party. The party is very, very, very hurt. If you go to Dom Kwabenya, it is not Professor Michael Quay Jr. that lost the elections. We all had, you see the sweeping loss we had across the country. All of us, we came into this contest with a positive balance in Ifia of about 6,000, 7,000 difference, and I won with just about 2,000 votes exactly. We lost all our seats. Kwesimin team, we had over 15,000 positive going into the election. We lost the election. Secondly, we had positive of 10,000. We lost the elections. You go to Takwa, so you can't. It's a misnomer. What we've experienced 2024 is not a normal trend of politics. So you really need to find out. Even my people in NDC, there are a lot of MPs there who never believed they would win their elections and come to parliament. You know, they knew they were going to win the election, but not with the numbers that they have. And so I'm sure they are even doing their own reviews to find out if they can keep those numbers. You know, so we really have to take our time as a party. It's not just about Dom Kwabenya, Michael Quay's performance. It's about the entire performance of us as a party. And so I believe Adwoa should calm down. She should be a bit modest in her presentations. And I'm sure when we do these engagements...
You again, I repeat it, you are a private legal practitioner, and I'm sure that you're more familiar with the party's constitution. Which aspects of what Sarah Adwoa Safo has said, which you would consider as creating disaffection for the party, and that would then warrant any solid grounds for the party to perhaps even take any disciplinary action against her? Because I'm happy, because you said, look, I've checked Obi's interview, I've watched everything, I've listened, I'm sure you watched the Pulse one too. Which aspect of what she has said would you say is causing disaffection for the party?
You know, this committee was set up by National Executive Council to do a work. So when you impugn that it's been set up with Professor Okwe chairing to undermine His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia's bid to be the flag bearer or the presidential candidate of the party, that is quite superfluous, you know, because we are not there yet. There's nothing about this process that speaks to us trying to find why Dr. Bawumia should continue to be a flag bearer or not. And so when you make such statements, you know, we are in a party...
But she said she's privy to all kinds of conversations that have been taking place in the dark about some attempts to do everything possible to make it impossible for Bawumia not to contest. And that's what she's saying.
But that has nothing to do with the committee setup. That's where I'm coming from.
Okay.
We are a party. People still have interest to contest. Dr. Bawumia contested 4 other people to win the bid. And people are still interested to contest the presidential slot.
Okay, so let me try and see whether I can create the nexus.
Yeah.
If I understood what she said,
yeah,
she's saying that, look, the committee's work will be skewed in a way that makes it appear that the people who were spoken to are blaming Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia for what has happened to the party. And so that document will then be used as basis to perhaps work against Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's interests. I don't even know whether Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia intends to contest or not. I don't even know. I don't know that for a fact.
Exactly. And she's saying these things without evidence.
Okay.
She's saying these things without evidence. And I don't believe this is what the party set it out to do. It's clear from the mandate of the committee to investigate why we lost the 2024 elections. They've been to various constituencies. When they go to the constituencies, they engage the constituency executives, the polling station executives. So there's nothing about this exercise that is looking at even presidential candidates and who should be leading the party going forward. So if she is privy to any information that suggests otherwise, in putting that information across, she should have added the evidence. But when you throw it out there, and then it becomes some story where some party members may be made to either believe because it's coming from a very senior member of the party. And so from those contexts, you are putting up a behavior or an attitude that is trying to disunite the party. And that is unhealthy. And this is coming at the background of the party giving us notice to stop those media engagements. And so when you flout it, then it becomes a matter where you ought to be referred to the discipline. So for me, in her, she made so many, I don't want to go into specifics because this is a platform I wouldn't want to continue perpetuating those stories. But anything that she said on all those media platforms, I'm saying that initially these were statements made. The party thought some of them were her father and all those stakeholders to engage her so that at the end of the day, she will be properly heard and some of her concerns would also be addressed. Because we are all human. If certain allegations are placed on you and we don't also help you overcome some of the issues that were put on you, it becomes worrying.
Okay.
Yeah.
My final question to you before Ellison comes in, and please be brief on this. I have listened to Justin Kodria's interview post the 2024 election defeat. He was on another radio station. Must have been up 2 or 3 radio stations or so. And the presenter asked him what he made of the accusations and counter-accusations which has characterized the party since the party lost. You know what he said? And I just realized that it's been quoted by some of the online portals. He said it's normal. Allow people to vent their frustrations. Allow this is this person's fault and that it's temporary.
Exactly.
Okay, things would die down at some point. So how do you reconcile that position with this statement which appears to be like a gag order? How do you reconcile the two positions?
No, so I believe everybody should be given the liberty to express him or herself, and that is why I'm not against the conversation that has been ongoing.
Okay.
So there's nothing wrong with Adwoa Safo or any party person. Even in our own constituencies, I have opened myself up for anybody to express him or herself since the election. Some may be true, some may not be true, but allow people to vent. Okay, so vent yourself, but be guided as well, because we are speaking to the Ghanaian populace.
Right.
And there are certain statements you put out there, when it turns out to be false, it will be difficult for you to go back and overturn, because based on what you are saying, maybe when further information is made available to you, you wouldn't have said the things you said.
Right.
Yeah, so I believe we should allow people to speak. The party is not against people speaking, even from the communication that came out. The party is not stopping or gagging anybody from speaking, but the party is saying that be mindful, be guided that in your communication or in your interviews, you don't say things or do things that will bring the party's name into disrepute or disunite the party.
All right. My brother, sorry.
You've been there.
What do you what do you make of what's happening within the NPP party? And did you see this coming maybe in the first place? Let me ask you.
Yes, I won't lie about it. I knew that they were still in denial, and there are different stages of grief, and so when you come out of denial, you now have to engage in blame game. And they tried to suppress it in the beginning, and I knew that it was really a matter of time. And trust me, I'm sure Adwoa Safo is one of many, and there may be more in line to also express their frustrations. If you check online, there have been hints here and there from some of their party people, and even using some of their party handles, they have dropped frustrations here and there. So I think that
you suspect there's some big wigs behind it.
Oh yes. Oh,
well,
I mean, you could not miss her strong love and support for Dr. Bawumia.
Yeah, she kept repeating.
Love was strong. The love is strong. You couldn't miss that.
So what's your theory?
Anyway, I'm only saying. I'm not making. I'm not proposing. I'm not propounding any theory. I'm only saying that you could not miss that strong love and support.
Okay.
For Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Okay.
And all I will say is, I have said before that Dr. Bawumia's claim to fame in the NPP was always his ability to disrespect and undermine, and in some cases, blatantly insult his senior brother, John Dramani Mahama. I've said that publicly many times, that his claim to fame has been that ability to undermine and insult and, ridicule his big brother, John Dramani Mahama. So I'm not surprised that Adwoa Safo is revealing to us today that there are conversations in the party, that are aimed at possibly replacing Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Because why? John Dramani Mahama will not be on the ballot in the next campaign. And so any serious NPP-minded person who knows what they didn't say, but I dared to say, that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's claim to fame in the party is his strength and his ability to undermine and ridicule and disrespect his senior brother John Dramani Mahama, will be thinking of what use he will be to the party after John Mahama's exit, you know, from the ballot or from the contest. And maybe they need to give me my stone. Adwoa Safo and others need to give me my stone. That, look, if there is that conversation, it is based on, I think, an assessment of what he brings to the table. What he brings to the table. Well, we are all doing ifs and buts, you know, because Adwoa Safo is saying there are conversations. And we are doing the assessment. So I'm saying that, look, if that conversation is happening, I am confident that it is based on what has been known to many but could not be voiced out, but some of us saw it and voiced it out. That is the only thing he brings to the table in the MPP is his ability to undermine John Mahama. And since John Mahama is not going to be on the ballot in 2028, I'm sure those people who have always assessed him based on that value will begin to wonder if it will make any sense putting him forward. And perhaps that is what they need to work around, to present a better, you know, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia beyond the ability to ridicule John Mahama. I mean, what really has he contributed in the past as either running mate or vice president in the office as vice president for 8 years? Look, the questions he used to ask. John Mahama has been at the presidency for 8 years. What does he want to do again? He asked those questions. He and his spokespersons used to ask those questions. Though he has been at the presidency for 8 years, what again does he want to go there and do? But at the time, John Mahama was vice president for 4 years and president for, it didn't matter. They said presidency. And when you try to separate it, they told it's presidency, it's presidency.
He said president.
Yeah, he said president. You used to always say presidency. So that same question, yes, that same question is waiting for an answer. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has been at the presidency for 8 years.
Yeah, but in what capacity?
Oh no, you see, I am just playing back the argument that was used by himself and his team against John Mahama.
Because at the time, the question about in what capacity was irrelevant.
It was irrelevant.
So it should stay so.
It should stay so, unless they give me strong basis why it should change. In my view, it must remain constant.
Okay.
Presidency is presidency. You were there for 8 years. So maybe his team will have to now tell us what he is going back there or what he will want to go back there to do. No, assuming he decides to go again. They will have to answer that. And they also have to tell us what else. And then maybe some MPP members who are beginning to have these conversations, if indeed those conversations are being had, what value he's coming with, because John Mahama is no longer there. So really, what did you do? What are you coming to do? I mean, so beyond attacking people, you know, the way Adwoa Safo is doing, maybe they should sit back and reflect on the kind of campaign that they have always used Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to wage since 2016, and look at how they can rebrand and repackage him. Because trust me, if they are going to move with him as if nothing happened in the past, they will have a shock of their lives, not even outside the NPP, but within the NPP. Look, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was always an outsider. He was brought in by.
Why are we doing this Bawumia review?
It's all about it. This is all about
He started his analysis by saying that.
This is all about it. I mean,
this is all about
Adwoa Safo's outburst. And I'll get to the other things that he said. But her outburst is all about Bawumia. That's why I started by saying that you could not miss her strong love and support for Bawumia.
In fact, she's threatened that she will not campaign for anybody if it's not Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Yeah, so it's all about that. So I'm saying that, look, clearly, if you look at the way things are going, it's going to get nastier, in the NPP, unless, of course, maybe Dr. Bawumia decides not to go again, because the way they used him to campaign will come back to haunt him and his team, and they need to begin to look at how they can address that question. But all I will say to Adwoa Safo personally, because she also took advantage of that to express, personal sentiments, is that vindication is in the womb of time. And maybe he should learn from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who said posterity was going to judge him. And it has judged him so favorably. Like my brother was saying, out of 270 constituencies, that man that was so discredited, so many lies told about him, won in 217 of them. 217 of them. I mean, unprecedented, never, experienced before. No candidate in a general election has ever won in the number of constituencies that he won. He won more than, the NDC won, parliament, if you are looking at parliamentary seats.
Yeah.
So that vindication perhaps is what Adwoa Safo should pray for, instead of trying to explain herself the way she is going about it now. But you see, generally, when you look at the reactions that have come, then you tend to think that sometimes as politicians, we love our party and we care about its image and its state more than our nation. And I'm reminded by the saying that people no longer defend what is right. They defend what they like. Because only a couple of days before now, the NPP complained about, I don't know whether to describe him as a media person, but someone with access to media who was arrested, and they were all over the place claiming gagging, claiming, infringement on free expression. They were all over the place. But I mean, I don't make time to listen to such people. But sometimes you can't avoid the pieces online when you are online. And some of the things attributed to this person are blatant insults. They are not criticisms. I mean, and that's what sometimes I think that we are not able to disintegrate. There can be strong criticisms, like what Adwoa Safo did, because I listened to her, and I did not find one insulting word. But she used very strong language.
Like bogus.
Yes. She was not insulting anyone. She was describing a situation as being bogus. She used very strong language, but not insulting. And you getting it? To criticize certain people and certain things. But she never insulted any of them. But this other person uses blatant insults. And yet you had the party come to his defense, defending what you like and not what is right. And suggest that asking the person not to engage in the things that he has been engaging in amounts to infringement of his right to freely express himself. And yet, when it's Adwoa Safo, you issue a statement to say, hey, you are being indisciplined. You are being indisciplined. You see,
so let's get some of these things.
Can I finish my analysis?
Please
I'm just speaking generally. Okay. I'm just speaking generally. I'm saying that, look, I do not think that we should be, setting different standards for some of these things. Once Adwoa Safo, in my view, did not engage in anything that can be said to be, insulting, did not defame anyone, was just expressing her strong views and doing so with strong words and with a high tone. What is wrong with that?
We're Ghanaians. If you said this in Britain, nobody will have a problem. But we're Ghanaians. Tell somebody to say a committee is bogus.
The Ghanaian democracy.
People are hurt in the party.
The Ghanaian democracy is not supposed to be different from the British democracy.
But there are cultural nuances to it.
Yes, there are cultural nuances. But you see, if you are practicing democracy, even in our traditional setup,
yes,
the King's Palace,
yes,
people still have the opportunity to say things strongly and say it respectfully but strongly.
True.
Yes. So, I do not see why they want to gag her in this case. I think that they must, partly agreeing with council, they must allow her.
Did you hear what she said about the school feeding? And
I'm getting there. I'll come there.
So you can understand why.
No, so that's what I'm saying. But you see,
she's saying a lot.
And that is where, that's why I say that we tend to think or care more about the image of our parties, political parties, than the image and the state of our country.
Right.
Because what is wrong if Adwoa Safo is telling us now that I carried out an investigation into the school feeding program because I was instructed to. And when I was done, I found rot and I presented it to cabinet and did not get support. Shouldn't we all be interested? Is it not our taxpayers' money? Shouldn't we all be interested? Why should she be gagged and dragged before a disciplinary committee for making such a revelation? Shouldn't we all be asking where that report is and if action can still be taken on that report? Is that not how to discourage corruption? Is that not how to hold people responsible and accountable? Is it because, it buttresses the point made earlier about Nana Akufo-Addo's clearing agent status? But if that is the case, are you not looking for why you lost the elections the way you did? And don't you know, or are you not aware that one of the reasons why you lost was because of corruption? And is it not in your interest, if you are cleaning yourself up, to repackage yourself, to support revelations such as these ones and get, resolutions to them in a way that you will also be seen to be supporting the corruption fight, so that perhaps people will begin to think that you were all not involved in the corruption. But if you are telling her that she's speaking a lot and she should shut up, then you are telling us that you knew about it all along, you are not sorry about it, you don't want anything done about it, and perhaps you just want an opportunity to do worse if you are elected again into office. So I don't understand the basis of the letter that was issued.
Before I lose my train of thought. Sorry, the school feeding one. You say you don't know the basis for, so then you can continue from
yes.
Apparently she said she's actually saved the report on her hard drive.
Yeah. So it is good.
She said on her hard drive.
It is good. I think that the Attorney General, Honorable Dominic Ayini, my big brother, should ask for the docket.
Yeah.
For the report.
This is serious.
I think it is good, and we should encourage people, like her, to speak out.
What is it because? Is it because he's MPP?
No, even in NDC.
You stand by the same principle.
I will stand by that same principle. I think that anybody who is found culpable of engaging in corruption must be made to carry his own cross. It should not be a party's burden. Because the gains of that the gains and the proceeds of that corrupt exercise, I don't see how it benefits the greater, members of the party. So it must be clear that anyone who is culpable of any corrupt deals should be exposed. And I think the Attorney General should request for it. If I could finish with this one.
You don't know the basis.
Yes, I've heard that. I've heard you know, the General Secretary of the party,
Justin
Kodia, in interviews, give reasons why the party lost.
Yes.
I've heard John Boydu.
Yes.
On interviews.
Wache Jaku as well.
Wache Jaku.
Quite a number of them.
They have, in some cases, even criticized some people.
The former Subing MP.
Held them responsible. I've heard Freddie Blay, the former chairman, in the media, give reasons why the party lost, you know, blame certain people. Why are they not invited and Adwoa Safo is invited to the disciplinary committee? I mean, you are only showing the discrimination that may have perhaps led her to the state that she is in. Because if I'm in her shoes, I will be provoked the more by this discriminatory treatment. How is it the case that John Boydu can go on radio and criticize CEOs, deputy CEOs of the previous administration, fell short of even criticizing party national executives, and gets no invitation? Wache Jaku gets no invitation, gets no letter being issued asking them to shut up. Then she goes on to touch Michael Kwe. You are telling her that Michael Kwe is untouchable?
In fact, Eugene Boachienchi, the former Subin MP, oh, he said worse.
Look, many have said worse about finance minister, the former finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. So Michael Kwe is untouchable? No. Because she mentioned Michael Kwe? No. The heavens must come down on her again? No. I mean, so I don't see how the approach is going to resolve anything in the NPP. Okay. But for me, the Baumia lovers and supporters, yes, they must get ready.
Okay.
They must get ready.
We also have
this is just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. If conversations have already begun in the party to sideline him and to blame him for all the woes, I mean for the woes of the party in the last elections, some of us are not surprised.
I remember when the presenter asked, how did you come by this notion that, you know, some people want to buy me out? He said, I've heard a lot. I know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's what she said. Anyway, so you're still watching Good Morning Ghana.
We all hear a lot. We all hear a lot. We hear a lot. We hear a lot.
No order to you for anu. Hey, oba tampa bein, ena ne bayale, eda owo nkwanta so. Ye de sekan be twitwa no. Na obeja abofra no wo se me di post, me di MP. Enti me hwe me ba nanim na ma gya ne wo ho. Na ma ba be di me post. Oba tampa bein sa wonye baifu a, oba be ne be yes ade. Oba bi afa ne ho nhye me shoes ni mu. Na bi sa ho se nka wo a anka obeye. Ba me mo fra no so nyete me pe na me di omkogu wo. Ba me a sacrifice ne bi amayama party ni tina na me mate amano ne na me mete ha 2012 election ne bae okay awa 20 one e de call for family ne ye kokod ye di na na do achi ne ya call proceedings na ya ba me o ha na school me mane call principal ne friend me say obi aba ho so ye driver odidi say o say o be fa nkola no e ya mpa ya fa nkola ne manana na me say dey bi ba me na to so mienu me tina hodin na me ka say me you politically exposed omo papa so you politically exposed inti e be ye nkola ni interest say ye ni abra ye politics no ye form nkono mo so ye so ye nan sorry dakro en tiasem boni because amanyo sem na ye no e wudi sem e wo ena nti me ma akodi ba bi na me te ha na say akola ni yare akwa me America omu laws no on child protection no any child care no enye bi ni e di agro wa ha no wudi agro ye beje oba e de na ma broni am wa adopt hu ba ni bio kwame na email se ba ko no makohwe na amaba na the principal wo se omu tutu nkwala na no itu ma me wei wo ma me ba da bai wo se nkwala abrofo wo se no omu ni nkwala adwen di agro oh about okoye den adwuma ntu nyo na ma me nete ene one principal the message aba wait the message pe kwame ba ku say me baaye me nua bayi nete wo ba me fie na me te me mpa so a me su na so chafo gina me fie o so wo mo be fa nkwala me su se oba asebe wo boda me su se ta o se se ebe ye why ebe ye iti me hwe na brofo ni nka se me nso me nya ba tan pa me hwe me ba ntini ye me ba wa approachire
o ma kra ta se sign
kwame na me susu se ma tan wo ayi amanyo ku oni mu na me susu se ma tan e wo mra hye bedwam anka o mo nso ebeku se ade a me komu no ebetumi ato obi emra me di leader no kwame ye MP ba ko me money din ono so ko similar situation mu ye dane nsam no saa ma obi ante ho asem da esu asem ni bi to Adwoa Safo no ye de be tina bonten ane yaka ne ya
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fair missy way.
The patch of Bantama.
Matias.
That's a cycle.
It's her smile.
The fresh breath.
Me jidi say we use Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind.
Cal 360 toothpaste.
Reskia, Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector.
Onim jom kasa.
You know what I'm saying?
Cal 360 did the way. Its cool mint gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You so feeling kika when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Who are you? Who are you? Charlie, I'll be you from the future. Who doesn't sleep on that slice of bready poor mattress anymore? Don't some slippers then follow me. It is part of the mattress we did the front there. Yeah? That'll be the mattress where the dead for me.
Wait, what are you doing? Wow! No damage at all.
Not only durable, but also super comfortable. Come on, try it.
Nothing day like Ash Foam. Enjoy full body support and unparalleled comfort for a restful sleep.
Don't forget your keys.
Get the premium sleep experience with mattresses from Ash Foam. Visit any of our showrooms nationwide or at ashfoam.com.
You're the answer to my prayers. You're with me everywhere. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need tonight. Give me shelter from the rain. You breathe life in me again. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need to know tonight.
I'm a brand manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with
quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable.
You're still live on Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Aldo. This show is also live on 94.1 FM. That's your radio dial. I'm here with the Honorable Isaac Boama Nyako, who is a Member of Parliament for the Efia constituency and also a private legal practitioner, of course representing the NPP, and our own friend and brother, a very good friend of mine, and Hassan Shaibu Suhini, who is also joined us here. He's the Member of Parliament for the people of Tamale North and also the Deputy Roads Minister. And we've been talking the last hour or so about the former Member of Parliament for the Dom Kwabenya constituency, 3 times, 12 years, and also former Deputy Majority Leader, former Minister for the Procurement Ministry, and and then also, yes, former Minister for Gender and Social Protection. So I don't know whether you have anything you want to say based on what Alas and Sweden, because I want us to
very briefly.
I want us to take a visit to the former central bank governor.
Right.
He's waiting for us.
Just a minute comment.
Okay.
So my point is that yes, post the elections, a lot of people were speaking.
Okay.
You mentioned all the former members of parliament, whether it's Subi or Asante Achim and Diapia Kubi. We've had John Buedu, as you rightly mentioned, and even the General Secretary. So, as I say, the party is not against people expressing themselves. But after some time, it has come to the attention of the party that we need to set up a committee. At the time they were speaking, that committee had not been put in place. And even post the committee had been put in place, people were still talking. But after further review, the party believes that let's allow this review process to be completed so that we have a clear direction as to where we're going. So we're still not gagging anybody from speaking, but we're saying that in your speech, let's be guided. We don't do things that will bring the party's name into disrepute. When it comes to this school feeding reports and the rest, it's good. She mentions it. If the report is there, it can be made available to any state-owned agency to do its investigation. What we care for as a country is to hold people accountable for their stewardship. And it is not just with the MPP, but any other party that is in power. So if anybody has access to that report and would want to share with any state enterprise, that is for the person to do. Because anybody that is found in that report will be invited, and if you don't explain yourself well, then the law will take its rightful course. So for now, I think we should be sober as a political party. We should give the committee time to come up with its report, and once we get the details of the report, we will still come back. I know the party will bounce back very strongly in 2028.
Okay. If you're a Muslim, I would have said you should add inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yes. If it doesn't, well, nothing happens. Anyway, so we're taking a flight. Oh, well, he doesn't live too far from here. So we're just going to drive to the former central bank governor's house and look at what's happening there. Afenyo Makin has already been there. And until he went there, we didn't even know there was a visitation by the national security operatives. And now we're hearing all kinds of things from the Honorable Afenyo Makin. Now, we've also heard from the Deputy Attorney General. He's spoken about it. The Daily Guide this morning is reporting on page 3 that AG okayed raid on ex-BOG Governor's house, 10,000 cedis jewelry stolen. Now, Ernest Kofi Edu and Jibril Abdulrazak says the Deputy Attorney General and Minister for Justice Dr. Justice Shremsai has confirmed government's approval of the raid on the homes of some key appointees of the S1 and Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo administration. According to him, the raids were sanctioned by the Attorney General and warrants were procured for the Rambo-style raids. So far, the homes of former Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and former Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, have been raided by heavily armed operatives of the National Security Secretariat. The two raids were led by Richard Jakpa, the Director of Special Operations of the National Security Secretariat. A section of Ghanaians have raised concerns about the manner in which the raids were being carried, particularly in the case of the raid on Dr. Addison's home, where the operatives destroyed his CCTV system before carrying out a search for a vault which they could not find. Deputy Attorney General Dr. Shremsai, speaking on the sidelines of the launch of a program in Accra yesterday, indicated that the Office of the Attorney General sanctioned the raids and that warrants were secured for them. He said every search that is being carried out is part of government's framework to fight corruption. So if you look at how government works, we work with other institutions and people submit complaints, but every search that you see is part of the government's framework to fight corruption, and we take responsibility for the searches that are happening, Dr. Shremsai told reporters. He added that those searches and the mode in which they were done in accordance with law. Warrants were procured and warrants were used to conduct those searches. His explanation, however, raises more questions about the mode of searches, of particularly where CCTV systems were disabled in the home of Dr. Addison before the search was conducted, raising concerns about whether the operatives had a different agenda. Now, Afenyomakin is accusing operatives of national security of stealing personal effects, including money and jewelry, from the home of Dr. Addison during a raid on Wednesday. Reports say about 15 heavily armed soldiers who arrived in 3 separate vehicles were involved in the raid. So that's in a nutshell what this whole matter is about. I'll start with you, Honorable. Okay, so let's listen to the Afenyomakin presser, and then we'll start the conversation.
According to Japan, he had a warrant to search the premises of Dr. Addison at his Roman Ridge residence. Again, when Dr. Addison inquired from him, he told him that he was looking for a vault, which to them the man had some money, cash in it. They forced their way, overpowered the security, and entered his premises. This Rambo-style approach must cease. This is the first time in the history of our country that a governor of a central bank is being subjected to such a treatment. Very traumatizing. In fact, at the end of their raid, they could not find anything. Unfortunately for the governor, some 10,000 cedis on his bed could not be found. So some of these hungry party foot soldiers that they use, who parade themselves as national security operatives, after all perhaps not even being paid, and they use this opportunity to steal. The governor's wife's earrings and necklaces were also not traced. They couldn't be found. In other words, those operatives stole these earrings and necklaces.
So that's the minority leader, Alexander Afenyomakin. He's made some very serious allegations. He talks about the fact that the chaps who went there had earrings. I mean, that's what he's alleging. And then also they stole 10,000 cedis and some jewelry. What do you make of this?
Thank you, Moro. I'm very worried about these developments coming from the backdrop of the earlier raid that occasioned the residence of Ken Ofori-Atta. And rationale behind some of these rates and the outcomes out of it and the information we get to receive. So the central bank governor has just left office. I think even per his contract is supposed to end this end of March. And then you have this kind of raid in his his private residence. The concern is what exactly is leading to these things. No information has been put out there with regards to the kind of investigation the state apparatus are after. Even after the exercise, nobody has given us a brief as to exactly what they had gone there to do. If you go into the residence of a former governor at 5 a.m., and your first question you're asking the person is to show you the vault of where he keeps his money, and then post the exercise, it is not a search for either some investigations into some criminality or a claim that the person has stolen money from the central bank, but trying to look for whether the person has kept money in his...
apparently, in the case of Dr. Enes Addison, I heard Justice Shremsai say that he was aware that he was being investigated. So it wasn't something that just came out of the blue.
So
he knew he was being investigated, but he had been spoken to.
You know, my concern is if you are investigating someone like the governor of the Bank of Ghana, like we expressed in the case of Ken Ofori-Atta, what evidence is it that you want that the person cannot be invited to make available to you? What are the preliminary charges that you want to investigate the person upon, for which we need to go to this extent of raiding the residence of those people? And so it's becoming much more like the government, for better choice of word, trying to either witch hunt or trying to intimidate. I find it very, very worrying, because at the end of the day, this person has served as a governor. As I indicated, you've not told us as Ghanaians the investigations that you are conducting. You go to his private residence, you destroy his CCTV cameras. Why would you destroy his cameras? What are you trying to avoid? What are you going to do that you don't want us as Ghanaians or the person to review and come to terms with in terms of the exercise you came to do in his private residence? And then at the end of the day, you find some money, allegedly 10,000. I don't know whether it is cedis or dollars. Initially they said it's dollars. Now they're saying 10,000 cedis. And what's next? And so I think this whole practice by the government to use this kind of security, and you know, Parliament just received communication from the President that the Minister for Interior would be added the responsibility as National Security Minister. And so in such instances where these raids are conducted by the National Security or NIB, you expect the Minister in charge of National Security to be out there to give us some context, some details. And I find the statement by the Deputy Attorney General very disingenuous, because in the case of Ken Ofori-Atta's raid, nobody told us that they had a warrant. Upon all the discussions, even the leader of government business, Honorable Mahama Ayariga, came to the floor of the House and indicated to us that the national security operatives did not go there with warrant. Now, how many weeks down the line, the Deputy Attorney General is justifying the raid of the central bank and is adding to it that the raid that occurred at the residence of Kenufuriata, the people who went there went with a warrant. So who is telling us the truth? And these are the things that brings credibility, places some lack of credibility on the government. And I think His Excellency the President should be mindful of some of these things.
Now, in relation to the matter you raised about tampering with the CCTV system, so there's an anonymous texter who has sent me some information, and I want to share that with you so that perhaps it would enrich the conversation. Now, he says, we're told, first of all, he says good morning and says hello to everybody. He says, we're told that an image was circulated showing Addison's CCTV system being dismantled with its hard drive taken away. Some have tried to spin this as evidence of foul play. But we now understand the hard drive was seized to be reviewed. What is unfair or illegitimate about that? When President Nixon had tapes in the Oval Office, prosecutors were immediately interested. It's standard procedure. If investigators find a recording system during the search, of course they will secure it. It's evidence basic law enforcement practice. So yes, that's the person's some information from an anonymous texter.
He's right. If you're conducting an investigation and you think those information will be relevant for the purpose of your investigations, why not? But the contention here is that we've come from a past where the previous governments, when they left office, certain invitations were extended to some government functionaries. Some residents of ministers of state were invaded. Honorable John Jinapo indicated this some time ago in the House of Parliament. And so, is it a culture where we want to create that after a change of government, every new government would have to use such raids as forms of gathering evidence, for their investigative purpose? I think there are several ways that we can conduct our exercises in investigation without bringing up these barbaric, crude methodology in our investigative process. And so when you send 15 armed men to a house of about, you don't know, maybe if there are 4 or 5 or so unarmed people, and then you begin by destroying their property, when the Constitution clearly gives someone a right to privacy, a right to his property, and then you go in there with a warrant to go and search, and you end up destroying his property, you end up stealing from his, the necklace and other jewelry of the wife allegedly have been stolen by the team that conducted those exercises. Now you've disabled the CCTV.
But you know what surprises me?
Yes.
In all of this, why is Addison quiet?
Why should he talk? He's still in shock.
He doesn't have lawyers?
No, they will come to that. He will definitely.
Because until Afenyomakin went to his house,
yes,
I don't think any of us would have even known such a thing had happened to him.
Yes.
And then Afenyomakin, who goes to his house, comes out and tells us that the man's jewelry and money has been stolen.
Yes.
But that's his side of the story.
That's correct.
Now, are we supposed to take what Afenyomakin has told all of us as hook, line, and sinker? Is that what we're supposed to do?
No.
And it is because of how emphatic we're sounding with this whole allegation of so and so stuff have been taken from the house. And we're not even saying allegedly or supposedly. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
But apart from that, when Dr. Addison was appointed as a central bank governor, we're all made to believe that this is a man who is not necessarily an MPP person.
That's correct.
He's a technocrat who's been brought there to do the job, which is actually in line with the laws of the country.
That's correct.
Why then is the MPP taking it upon itself?
Yes.
To fight for Dr. Ernest Addison?
Yes.
It doesn't suggest that it was his appointment to the central bank was more of a partisan one, and he was perhaps serving the interests of the party?
No, I don't.
As some have suggested.
No, I don't think so. I think first and foremost, like you indicated, he would definitely have the advice of his lawyers to take action against the security operatives that invaded his house. Once it came to the attention of the minority leader, it behoved on him to pay him a visit, not only because the minority, he served as governor under the reign of MPP, but for whatever reason I would not know, the minority leader got the information and visited him and brought out these details from the conversations he had. Now this information has been put out there. It has not been counted, discounted by any other person. You know, we've had an instance where the current governor of Bank of Ghana was prosecuted by the MPP government.
Yeah.
You know, he was in court. And then when power changed, the Attorney General, one of his first cases he was interested in was to enter withdrawal and only prosecutor to get him out of the charges against him. And then days later, 2 days or so later, he was made the governor of the Bank of Ghana by the party that has just come into power. So is it a trend that we bring in governors to come and serve a political cause? I don't know. But clearly you can see from some of these things. And I don't think that this practice of invasion, showing power, and then the gentleman involved, Richard Japa, you know, this country, I don't know how serious we want to be. We have national security as a body corporate. We have NIB with so many professionals in there. So if Japa doesn't lead a raid, can't national security operate?
But he's the director of operations.
Come on. And these are some of the things we do and discredit our security agencies.
Yeah.
The person was under trial as well. The Attorney General enters withdrawal and only prosecutor. He, from his cross-examination and the rest in court, he was dismissed from the military, even as a young soldier. And just when power shifts, he becomes the director or deputy director of operations at national security. Are we serious, man?
So Neil Vanderpoy has a message for you before I bring in a license winning. So Neil Vanderpoy says, hello, Mr. Moro. He says, please respectfully tell our brother that in the intelligence operations of that nature, the CCTV is very key to the investigation.
Yes.
The NIB is very key. The NIB would have to know all activities that have taken place within the premises within a period.
That's correct.
What about if there has been movement of certain things prior to the arrival of the personnel?
No problem.
Tell him that I'm saying that he should stop saying what he's saying. He has no idea what some of us went through in 2017 when the MPP took over. Was he in this country in 2001 and 2017? He said you've lost the moral right to complain. Anyway,
so is it a payback time?
Well,
from what he said, and this is where we do.
The only thing I read was.
So if you go through that, and that experience was not pleasant, and you thought it wasn't right, and as I have said, we have John Jinapo and others all complaining of same. We are not countenancing wrongdoing. Okay, so if there is evidence or they are conducting investigation, you can go ahead and do the investigation. But my point is, the modus operandi we used to do these things are archaic and barbaric. It doesn't conform to contemporary times. It doesn't conform to modern ways of investigations. So we should move away from it. You can go to the person's residence, even President Trump. Didn't the FBI go to his house to recover information? Biden, haven't they all been visited? So it's nothing new. But when we do these things, and tomorrow similar things are being done to us, let's not come back and play the ostrich. So for now, let them go ahead and do their investigations. I'm all for it. Beyond them, if they have even more people they want to go and raid, they should go ahead and do that. But at the end of the day, posterity is here to judge all of us.
Honorable.
Yes, Moro. I think that
they say you bring Richard Japa in. He's causing problems.
I'll get to Japa, but I think that we should not behave as if just woke up one morning and a crazy man with a team decided to visit a citizen of this country for no reason. Let us remember that we just came out of a general election. And during the election, a number of things influenced voters' decision. One of the things I'm sure that influenced the decision of voters was the collapse of our banks and how recklessly that was done. The fact that reports showed that we needed a little above 5 billion Ghana cedis at the time to have saved the banks. And after collapsing those banks,
actually.
Sorry, 9 billion Ghana cedis. And after collapsing those banks, creating job losses, we are told we have spent over 30 billion Ghana cedis so far and still have to spend more.
Yeah, according to the finance minister.
According to the finance minister. Let's not forget this happened in this country. And let's not forget it influenced the decision of voters. Yeah. And those voters will want answers. They didn't just vote for nothing. Let's not also forget that the Bank of Ghana, at the time that it was posting losses, decided to put up a headquarters building, which initial cost was $82 million. By the time they completed the building, we are told it cost them about $250 million. Many, yeah, about 220, maybe 250, if you add taxes. You know, many want answers. How an $82 million project ended up costing us $250 million.
But that has been answered in the House.
People want answers. What is provided? In fact, even the governor himself in his answers suggested that they were even internally carrying out some audits.
Yes.
Yes.
Just for the value for money audit.
Yes.
Yeah, but
so I'm saying that,
explanations
please,
are
can I finish? Can I finish? So I'm saying that let us not discuss this visit or raid as if some crazy people just got up one morning and decided to raid a citizen of this country for no reason.
So is what you're telling
I'm
us,
building up the point.
Is what you're telling us the fact, or this is something that you are...
I don't know.
Okay, right. So
I don't know, but I'm just saying that let's have this conversation holistically.
Right.
I don't know.
Because I don't want the online guys to go to you and say,
I don't know.
But
I'm saying that let's have this conversation in context. So you had a situation where the central bank was in charge of the collapse of our banks. That led to job losses. That has also cost this state more than it would have cost us if we had chosen an alternative option, which was available to us. The people who were at the helm of affairs at the time obviously owe us some answers. Again, when you look at the losses that the bank has posted in their statement, 2022-2023, about 10.5 billion Ghana cedis, we are told. And the finance minister in his budget statement told us that the central bank of all banks is insolvent. I mean, how did it happen that a central bank needs injection of capital? It needs to be liquidated. I mean, it needs, yes, injection of capital, not liquidated. I mean, we deserve answers as citizens because that's our bank. So, in the midst of all of this, let us not also forget that we have a history in this country. In 2001, when President Kufuor took over, in the quest for accountability, people like Dr. Tornado were pulled out of vehicles in traffic and slapped. People like former First Lady Nadu Mills was taken to Counterbar, where she spent hours on end because some vehicles were discovered at the then Vice President's residence, former Vice President's residence. People like Chachuchi Kata were arrested by the national security in church. Let's not forget that history. Let's not also forget that in 2009, similar things happened to many people in the quest of accountability. I remember Asamoah Boateng, whose passport, who was, I think, at the airport, the hula baloo. Just in 2016, I've heard my chief whip, Roxon, speak of how, in his case, it wasn't even about accountability or change of government. His building was just pulled down because it was said that his building was on a state property. And up till today,
six-story building.
Yes, six-story building. And up till today, he hasn't been given any evidence of nothing. We have heard of the ordeal that John Jinapo and the family went through. I'm not using all of that. I'm not recalling all of this to justify what has happened. I'm just recalling all of this as history that should be part of the conversation. The recent act of the national security before the Bank of Ghana's conduct, Bank of Ghana governor's visit, was Keno Foriata's visit, which many condemned, especially when we were not told that they went there based on a warrant. The majority leader, Honorable Mahama Ayarga, on the floor of Parliament, criticized the national security for their operations. Many leading members of the NDC did. Now, what we are told in this recent one is that they had a warrant. That, in my view, given the history I have tabled, is an improvement that must be encouraged. It's an improvement that must be encouraged. If you take it from 2001 to 2009 to 2017, even to the Keno Foriata's one, and you compare to what we are told happened in the case of Dr. Addison, that, in my view, is an improvement, which we must encourage. If the national security is going to pay a visit to anybody, they must have the warrant. And in this case, we are told they have a warrant. If they went to the Bank of Ghana governor, I am pleading that it should not be lost on us that these issues I spoke about, the collapse of the bank, there may be, I don't know, the reasons why. And if they are, is it a bad thing? I don't think so, because Ghanaians want answers for those things. If they went there and we are told they took a recording device, really, what is the fuss about taking a recording device from the premises of quote and unquote a suspect or someone that is supposed to aid with investigations? How do we know if that recording device will not eventually become evidence or provide evidence? Because a recording device can provide evidence of what is being investigated. So it's not as if they went to the house and took the furniture or took the television set. They took a recording device. They took a recording device. So let's find out why they took a recording device.
Yeah.
Let's not jump into, condemnation that will disable our investigative bodies from carrying out their legitimate functions. I share in the reservations of people because of our immediate past. What happened in 2001, what happened in 2009, what happened in 2000. We don't want that to happen again.
Okay.
But if we are hearing that in this case they went with a warrant, let's encourage that. Let's ensure that there's cooperation.
All right.
Let people who believe they have done nothing wrong cooperate with the relevant state agencies tasked with the responsibility of investigating crime, so that we all can at the end of the day know the true causes of things that we think are wrong and should not be repeated in this.
So Mansa Musa from the UK, he's a regular viewer of the show. He has his own show actually based in the UK. He says, "Hello, Captain Moro. Good conversation as usual. Moro, I keep saying this about how the MP is conducting itself this time around. How exactly do they want this country to be governed? What is it about all this fretting and jumpiness? The attitudes these days can only be likened to someone who is expecting some form of opprobrium and as such always looking over their shoulders, not knowing what is coming next. The attitude and behavior of the MPP, as psychologists will tell you, they are scared or afraid of something. In Adwoa Safo's plenty rant, she lamented that some within the MPP ranks are losing sleep. Whatever is bothering them, let them be assured that whoever has done no crime will have nothing to fear and must sleep well. Thanks from Musa Mansa." This one here from McLean, Desmond in Sefui also. He says, President John Mahama and his NDC party previously claimed to understand the existing challenges in Ghana and their potential solutions. The people of Ghana aren't interested in hearing repeated finger pointing and excuses. We're looking for real action and tangible solutions to address the economic challenges that the president claimed to have criminally mishandled. The primary concern is that we're expecting the new administration to prioritize fixing the challenges we have as a country. We cannot afford to continue the path of blame shifting and empty rhetorics. And that's from Sefiri also, McLean, who sends us that message. Makojo Boafo, I'm sure is a regular, it's a very familiar name. He says, "Good morning. We're reviewing the photos provided after the raid in Governor Addison's home. Nothing indicates that a CCTV was destroyed. The warrants to search should specifically mention the seizure of electronic devices, including the CCTV hard drive. NIB must demonstrate that a CCTV footage is relevant to the investigation and can provide evidence of a crime. CCTV footage can provide valuable evidence in investigations such as identifying suspects, establishing timelines, or corroborating witness statements. Conversely, seizing a CCTV hard drive can raise privacy concerns as it may contain footage of individuals who are not relevant to the investigation. The seizure should not compromise the integrity of the CCTV system or affect its functionality. In conclusion, seizing a CCTV hard drive during a raid can be justified if it is done in accordance with the law, with a specific warrant, and with respect for individual privacy. NIB must demonstrate that the seizure is proportionate to the investigation's needs and that they have taken steps to minimize the impact on individual privacy." I can't read the rest of the messages, I'm sorry, because our time is up. But we wish the Black Stars well. Today we have a high-stake game against Chad, and it's a must-win game if we have to make any progress, so we have to progress to the next stage of the competition. I want to thank sincerely.
For the sake of my brother Kofi Annan.
Celebrating hard work, commitment, dedication, and impact. The Metro Sports Awards 8 in 8 seeks to identify and reward the 8 most impactful sports personalities the last 8